you doing, sir?
Great, thank God.
Okay, I guess we'll start the meeting right now. Communication, Public Relations Committee. I have not a lot on the agenda, but we'll start with the approval of the minutes from March the 25th, 2024. If gentle lady, Commissioner Kennard has agreed that we approve the minutes as presented. Thank you. We had a conversation last month about broadband. Has there been any significant movement forward on that project?
No, nothing significant happening on it. We're running out of time for the speed test. And was talking with a gentleman from a firm that had offered to try and assist us within the time frame we've got left, but the cost is prohibitive. We don't have the money to pay what he would have to have, so we'll just have to continue and proceed ahead and do the best we can.
Is there something that the commissions can do in their wards to help that project?
If there was if we had a list of who within the various areas supposedly had high-speed broadband, where we had people that could go in and do a speed test, then yes, but we've only got until the 29th to wrap that up. I think the 29th is the deadline.
Of this month?
Yeah.
Oh, did we get a chance to do any?
We had an opportunity, and we were trying to use some volunteers that were gonna work with us. Something got crossed up in the mix and it didn't materialize as it should have. And
That's unfortunate.
yeah, it is.
So, this can't be the last.
Well, I am still also trying to work with another angle, but I'm not sure. I mean, this one has been just a tough one to deal with.
Okay. Well, how much of this broadband is connected to Justice 40?
None. Because I went directly to the feds to ask that question and got nowhere with it.
They didn't have an answer for you?
Oh, they had an answer, and that was that Justice 40 was not one of their, wasn't targeted as one of their priority areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, that's what I've been running into, and I had mentioned before. These different federal agencies, it's different with each one of them. Some of them are following it, some of them are not. When I talked with the Coast Guard, they said that's one of their top priorities, and they would do everything they could to assist us and help us. You talk to HUD and some of the others, at most, they may have some little side Justice 40 project or something off on the corner if you want to chase it down and participate in it, and some of them just not at all. They apparently, when it was put out there as an executive order, there was no mechanism or process to follow up to make sure that they did anything with it.
Okay. Well, we still have a partner with Comcast. Maybe we can find some way to get better service or something. So I don't think it's dead. And
I don't
it
think
is not the last funding.
Yeah, I don't think it's dead either. This is probably the last money that's gonna be available to do that. But there's still a couple of other avenues that may come about. I mean, for one, we had approved permits for AT&T to put broadband in various areas of the city. I've been trying to find out from them, when are they going to do it? Because you may recall, my having said earlier on, they had applied for permits and gotten them approved 2 years ago. Never did it. And then they came back to ask for approval again for the same permits. And we went ahead and gave it to them, but I asked Avonmarsh to follow up with them and find out, when do they plan to do it? I got no answer yet.
And what was their plan?
The plan that they showed, well, actually, it wasn't so much plan, it was an actual permit request, was for them to put broadband in the central area of the city here, going all the way out to the city limits just about.
Well, didn't they start on that project over in this area?
They, at times, I guess I should answer first, no. What has happened at times, we've had various companies, most of them are using the same one or two companies to do their work. We approved permits for Comcast to actually do fiber optics down near the Emerald Flats building, over here, somewhere in the central downtown corner. But that's all they're doing. Otherwise, they're doing their regular coaxial cable thing. But I believe AT&T may have had them do one or two specific things that they were doing. But as far as just doing whole neighborhoods and so forth, AT&T was the only one that had put in an application to do that.
Interesting. And how long has it been since you asked Avonmarsh to look into it?
About 2 weeks.
Okay, well, maybe by next meeting, we'll have some more conversation on that.
We'll keep trying, and I think I mentioned before, I'm still talking to the firms involved with that transaction of bringing the line across the lake. And I'm not sure what we'll get out of that, but I'm trying all the avenues.
I went online with them. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, it is.
Very interesting, and it could take us to another plateau for for media.
And that's why I think no matter whether we succeed or not in what we really wanted to accomplish, just having them come into the city here and then branching out in Michigan from here, that in itself is a win for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will in fact be probably in 2 or 3 steps coming forward with an easement for them to be able to, come in and connect. In fact, one company, 123, that I'm talking back and forth to now, because they're pressing hard for us to go ahead and give them an approval going underground for the part that goes out of here up towards Grand Rapids, but even before the line is here. And there's something called the Metro Act that apparently the state legislature passed some years ago. And apparently we passed a resolution to
we did.
participate.
Yeah,
And
we did.
that pretty much says that if they paid a $500 fee and make the request, we just about have to let them have the access.
Yeah.
So he called again Friday, I think it was. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow, let him know we're processing it. But it just struck me strange that he's pushing so hard to do it, and he doesn't know yet for sure exactly where it's going to come in, and he knows approximately. Yeah. But we'll keep working on it.
Okay. And Madam Clerk, we'll put that back on our agenda for next month of broadband discussion. Unfinished business is number, the second item, city communication outlets. I put out a call and I'm gonna do some, create an email for Commissioner Henry so I can put the call out to action to see if we can get, a community liaison to come in and work with us through communication. So, that is a shout out to anyone that's on Facebook, that's listening. If you know anyone that wants to get involved in communication, please. We're gonna create a community liaison, and you're much needed in Harbor residents. Um, a group of us, sit down and start working on the social media dialogue. And so we know that we have to do some things to keep the government social page in order. So we're gonna work on it and bring it back to this committee and on to other committees. If you have any suggestions or any help on that with your expertise, I'll appreciate it. Mr. Former city manager Mitchell did give us something to look at that has been approved by other municipalities. So I'll ask if you have anything to add to that to help us. We appreciate it.
Let me offer a suggestion. When you get a chance, go online and look up GoGov.
Yeah.
I was talking, I've had a couple of conversations with them, and they kind of come close to what I'm thinking would really be beneficial for us.
You saw that too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
GoGov, G-O-V.
Could you explain?
What it is, it's a program that has, as a part of it, an app that people can download. You can put it on, you can incorporate it as a part of our web page and make people aware of it. Otherwise, they can download free the GoGov app. And it can be a mechanism where we can distribute information citywide to anybody who has that app. Or, and they're getting me some more information because I'm asking them about the ability to target certain areas. For instance, if we had a water line broke down here in the area of Maine and this section of the city, no need to alarm the whole city. We need to just send something to the area where water either is cut off or has to be boiled or something like that. Or if it's a big area, we can, submit information regarding that or whatever. And that's what I'm looking for, something that will give us the ability to either broadcast citywide or in targeted areas, depending on what's going on. I mean, if, for instance, like the information that was up on the screen at the last meeting about the streets that are blocked off and so forth, that kind of thing. Just looking for flexibility and something that will do what we need, but will still be useful 5 years or 10 years from now as it would right now.
Good. Well, it looks like we all been looking into that app. So more onto that.
And the thing about it is not extremely expensive, which is another thing that I'm gonna try to look for, because we need to do as be as frugal as we can with it.
Yes, yes.
I think that company also offers a text alert
Yeah,
system as well, that you could alert those in specific areas.
Yeah.
Or citywide if something was to come up.
well, we'll wait on your research and your, seems like I've looked at it a couple of times
Okay.
myself.
We'll keep looking at
Okay, I guess new business is just questions that I have. And, the first one is very critical and I'm not understanding why we haven't gotten the comments for YouTube turned on for the citizen in enabling them to text questions or whatever.
So they do comment. There's comments that come through.
Well, is it directed to any particular
I mean, sometimes there'll be questions on there, a lot of times they're not really directed to a specific person.
but they're directed to the council? The question.
Council or the city manager, whoever's speaking at the time.
Well, I just think that they need to be addressed. If they're asking a question or they have a concern, they should go to someone and someone shall address it. I don't think that it's just right to just have them to do anything. Now, what would you have to do, Madam Clerk, to address those questions and concerns to the right individual?
Go through all of the comments and figure out where they need to go, who they need to go to, what department, whether it's a commissioner, staff member.
Well, just off the top of your head, I know you can't ask a dumb question, but are they valid comments or you don't know? You can ask a good question, whatever it is, so.
A mix.
Mix.
Yeah.
How much time do you think that would cost you?
Depends on how many comments there are.
Yeah, that is, and
Some topics would have more
of course,
questions and discussion than others.
of course. And is it, once you gather who it belongs to, you just tap, a couple taps and it goes over to them? Or you send them a forward?
I would have to put them, draft an email to them. Like I wouldn't be able to forward them from YouTube, they'd have to go on YouTube and see the comments themselves.
That's a job. Okay,
And a lot of times, if it's to a specific staff member that would need to answer that, they would probably have to go back and review that portion of the meeting to see what the discussion was and why that particular question came up in order for them to respond.
You got too much time, you don't have that much time on your hands. So that goes to my next thought and solution to it is about your deputy. City manager, where are we at the discussion on the marijuana and pre-employment tests? I don't know if you've been in on it, but we've had this conversation for some time because the HR attorney let the city clerk know that there was no second chances if they failed the test the first time. And the state of Michigan has actually showed some compassion and they don't do pre-employment for jobs that don't require machinery or something like that. So we really need a deputy clerk. And we need a deputy clerk bad. Because I don't want the city clerk to be overworked. And I've seen so many things that I would like for her department to do, but she's only one, and there is money in the budget for her deputy. She'd already kind of picked out a person. And so my question to you is, where are we on that issue of pre-approved, pre-employment drug testing?
Nowhere, I've really done nothing at all with it. I remember the discussion that came up when Mr. Mitchell was here. And I also remember the recommendation that we had from our risk management people. Very honestly, I don't think the city can afford to touch it as long as we're as dependent as we are on our federal grants, because every one of those grants has a requirement in it that we sign as a drug-free workplace.
Well,
And until they become a little bit flexible,
Well-
the state has the economic wherewithal to do whatever it wants to do. They don't have to deal with the same rules necessarily that we do. But our situation, quite honestly, is fragile, and we can't afford to get ourselves in a position where we start getting shut off.
So you're saying that second chance under the marijuana that stays in your system for months, that there is no opportunity for us to have a second chance?
It really doesn't stay in your system for months.
Wait a minute.
Marijuana typically will appear, now it'll stay in your hair a lot longer, but most places don't do hair testing. Normal blood tests and so forth is 21 days.
Mr. Little,
Mhm.
they have tested people months after consuming marijuana, and it's in their blood and in their urine. I mean, I worked at the Cook Nuclear Plant, I've seen it happen.
Well,
So,
I'll just mention to you that for the last 8 years before leaving Florida and coming back here, I was handling 1,100 people. And we had random tests and everything else. And I can tell you, like I said, while it will stay in the hair a lot longer, the typical tests that you take, blood tests, 21 days is it, and it's going to be out of your system.
so is that an opportunity for us to have a second chance in our policy?
If a person applies and they would go through the normal thing, I mean, realistically, if I smoked marijuana this morning and I cut it off there because I'm going to apply for a job, I got to just look at the calendar and give myself a couple of extra days, 25 days from now. Go in and take the blood test. It should come in clear. They're not testing hair and bone and that kind of stuff.
If that's what it is, a blood test and not a urine test?
Even the urine test, same
That's a
thing.
urine test.
They'll clear out of it too.
Okay. So to you, city manager, do we have an opportunity to give a second chance? Because that's not the opinion of the HR. And she has not even responded to my inquiry about it, which is so disrespectful. But to you, is there an opportunity for us to have a second chance on anyone?
I would think so. I mean, as long as a person passes the blood test at the time that's given to them, I mean, they don't really have a problem. Unless they've got felonies or something else.
Well, yeah,
on there.
I'm only talking about marijuana.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about heroin, acid, none of that, not even alcohol,
Understand?
because you can't stop a person from drinking alcohol but
Should be able
But
to.
public, but if you're gonna work in certain positions, you can't smoke marijuana, even if it's approved by the state of Michigan, so,
It's just like CDL drivers, they are, not only have they gotta pass them coming in, but they also have to submit a random test at any time. You pull a number, walk in and test them.
that's it. Most of us have to go through random drug testing, and, so, city clerk, Madam Clerk, hearing that, what can you do to move forward on securing a person?
So I actually did ask my person to resubmit their resume, for former city manager Mitchell, and they didn't.
Okay. Do you have any option two?
I do, currently.
Is it anything that you can, how soon can you start that process? What do you have to do? Just reach out to them, or do you have to make it public, or what? How's that process?
Well, I have a candidate that I'm working with currently.
Is it gonna be anytime soon? Because I need that person to do some work.
If that's your primary reason, you must find another way to address it, because we are also still trying to hold down on that general fund, holding expenses down.
Well, that money has been in that budget for 2 years,
Oh,
and I don't,
we got lots of money in the budget,
I
we
know
don't have
we do.
any in the cash drawer.
I know, it's in the budget, and if it was in the budget, it's in the bank somewhere, it's in a pocket somewhere. If it was in the budget, it wasn't just popped up and mesmerized and came up. There was money in the budget for that, so, and that money should still be there. We don't know yet, because we haven't touched the budget since last year, so.
Again, I'll say it respectfully, just because money is in the budget does not mean that there is money there to back it up. Because, for instance, you're not budgeting in the general fund the full cost that's coming out of there to support the water or the cemetery. And that continually runs a shortage in your budget, and will continue to do so for quite some time.
Well, I understand that, because they were arms of the government that got no support, so they floundering, and we're trying to keep it from going under now, and I understand that. But I still can't see us not moving forward on hiring a deputy clerk for any reason, because we need a deputy clerk, and I also know that when I looked at the budget, there's a $3 million slush fund where nobody knows, it's the miscellaneous. So, I don't know if you saw that or not.
Didn't help me out with that.
I saw it.
It helped me out with that.
And so we got a schedule, and I can't remember how the schedule runs for our budget to be looked at again. So I'll tell people to look out for that, because that's kind of information that we need to be sharing, so the residents can get involved and hear what's going on with the budget and their money. So, yeah, Madam Clerk, I really would like to see you move forward on that, no matter what they say about the budget. I know we'll find money to do what we need to do, because that's what households and people that have people depending on them do, take care of the people. So please, and let me know what's going on. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. You got anything to say about that?
Not really, but I do have some of course, I would like that.
Ask them, cause I got 3 or 4 of them, but we're not gonna take a whole lot of time, but
Okay,
let's go.
I see where it is, that we addressed this concerning the water being safe on our last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, in the opinion of, Mr. Little, we know that the younger the children are, the more endangered they are in any contact of lead. And I want to know because a lot of mothers use the baby's formula with this water. And due to that, would you still recommend if they, because you make it clear, because they'll say, well, you didn't say, look out for the younger the children are not to use it or whatever. If there's something specifically that we need to watch out for, just tell the people, except for the babies, the youngsters, the younger they are. Don't fix their formula with the water, or it's okay. Babies are not endangered. State certified that the water is safe at a safe level. So that means anyone can make use of the water. They lift the ban on the water, that food can be washed with it. It's drinkable. Your teeth can be brushed with it. And so I want to know, what would be your advice as far as how infants are being, their formulas, because there was a high rate of grid death of youngsters here at one time. So I want to know now, would you say after having this alert, because it's been brought up to my attention, would you say even infants can make use of this water with a safe level lead, is that?
The federal standard that's set at the 15 parts per million, basically if you're below that, it's safe for anyone, including infants, to use water. The instances where in some programs they're suggesting using filters or whatever has to do with the fact that we're talking about the water lines being cleared, and in many, the average home it's cleared, but any individual home could or could not, depending on its age, the appliances that are in it when they were there, what age and so forth, could have some lead in there, but there still should be below the standard. And they're the people who establish it, and they don't make a distinction. They're saying if it's below the federal standard of 15 parts per million on lead, that is safe for anyone.
That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair. No, I'm Madam Chair. Madam Clerk, we have looked at the website, and I have to thank Mr. Little and whoever else got Avamarch to present their projects on our website. But when I look for the search for city manager, it was so incomplete. It didn't even give any dates. It didn't give me anything. It gave a description somewhat of the job, but was that what was presented to our webiness or whoever they are, or what? It was.
So that was uploaded by the HR department.
Mr. Little, did you see that search that HR department put on there?
I saw the job description, and it was a very good job description, actually.
Well, it's probably the same one we've been using for the last 2 or 3 terms, but There's nothing else on there. I don't see the outreach. I mean, I don't see the information. Is it a timeline that they were supposed to submit or, it's just gray.
I don't know what instruction was given to them by the personnel committee, so we'll have to find out.
Okay. Personnel committee,
Yes.
oh, they didn't give any instructions, I'm almost sure. Do you think we can get that soon? Because that's gonna cause me to have an indigestion.
We can find out,
Thank you.
certainly.
That was one of the things, hopefully by our next meeting, if this, information will be what you're looking for, will be plain and clear in the area that you were looking at that, seemed to not be clear, a lot of clarity about it. And, we really wanna make things like that clear, because so many times they said, well, nobody answered to it. But because it's not clear, a lot of people feel that they, it's working against them before they even apply for it, because it's not clear. And that's what we want to do, is have a clear understanding of everything that goes out in communications. And will there be, in what, how you setting up our communication system, will there be an area where they can call and get clarity on something that is not clear to them in your communication? So is there another piece to this?
Well, it's really hard to call City Hall and talk to someone.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do it for a long
I
time.
have a lot of people complaining that.
And so we're gonna get better at, and we can't put everything on the website and think that everyone is going to go or have the capacity to go and search and do whatever, get information. So we gotta have more than one avenue. Social media is one, texting is another one. Our website is a little bit better. It's still hard to maneuver around in it, but they seem to be getting a little better, and I don't know if it's because somebody's talking to them or they're just seeing that they can improve it. But I have to always go back to the newsletter, city manager. Can you tell me that you're new in that position, and I know you probably had this conversation, but you are our interim city manager now, and I'd like to know what your opinion on the newsletter.
My honest opinion is that the city would be far, far better served using the, one of the apps or whatever that distributes information on cell phones and so forth.
So you just
And
think,
it's far more cost effective too.
okay. I'll leave that alone until we can look at avenues, because that's all I want to do, is to make sure that we can establish ourselves as, establish public confidence, as well as the way for them to give opinions and to educate them about our policies. That's the things that we need to do. And so, is there any citizen comments or?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
When you wanna say something?
we wasted a lot of time in this place talking about the newsletter. do you realize how long we've actually talked about it? And it was never accepted. The only people who accepted it were the citizens. They asked for it. I know I did, because I know that all the information in Benton Harbor would be for everybody. These backdoor meetings and all of this kind of stuff is not working for the citizens. Truth is, Mr. Mitchell, it ain't working for the citizens. Things were supposed to be working for the citizens. We started this year out talking about how close we were going to be, how la-di-da-di-da-di we were going to be, and all of this mess. And I mean, it was some mess, because I sat here and looked and listened and was hopeful. I even told you guys, I was hopeful that things were going to be correct with you guys. And no sooner I let my guards down, like I'm sure everybody else did, all of this low down, backbiting, backstabbing, low life, all of this bull has happened since then, since the first of the year. And it's getting progressively worse. When you don't get that newsletter out there like the people ask for, and we don't ask for much of anything, but they ask for it like they ask for medical marijuana, and you see how much slander and bull is coming behind that, things we can't do and all of that. There's got to be an avenue, and the newsletter is the avenue where the citizens can know and participate in, which there is nothing that the citizens are participating in at all. And I think all the powers that be enjoy that position. Get the newsletter. Hey, we got friends. Ask Whirlpool. Ask Whirlpool to make that happen. Make broadband happen. Make all of this stuff y'all talking about what can't happen for the citizens. Ask them. Since we don't know how to do I want to say a damn thing by ourselves. Ask the marijuana people. They promise to help us do things we need to do. You gotta do something more than sit up and tell citizens what they can't do or can't have, or all of these ifs, ands, and buts and time passing and all of that. Do something for the citizens, or all of y'all need to, I guess, run behind Mr. Mitchell. What y'all do, eating? Where is he? Nobody asked that. Now, I should not ask it either. I should, but I won't. It's about the citizens. It ain't about none of y'all. That's y'all the least of my concern. But when y'all in power and ain't doing what we ask you to do, keep disagreeing. Citizens, I'm asking the citizens to come over here and talk to y'all, because all of y'all need talking to.
You just going.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Dunn.
knew I wasn't gonna get it all out before I got interrupted any damn way, but it's all right, because I've been interrupted ever since I come down here. That's what the citizens get when they come down here. They get interrupted, disrespected. All of y'all ask for respect all the time, command it, and don't give it. You gotta give it. You gotta give it, or as a citizen other than myself will be sitting in these seats saying that y'all ain't giving it, and they might be more distraught than me. Help the citizens and get past all of this garbage y'all feeding us. We can have black bands. Broadband.
Mr. Duncan? Ms. Kennard, do you have anything to say?
Oh, nothing more.
Okay, Mr. Little?
Nothing more than that.
Okay, do you have any idea of a timeline that you might make another contact with GoGov? Will it be by time next month? Because time is essential.
They are getting some information for me that I requested, yeah, they're getting some information for me that I requested. I expect to hear from them within the next, say, 2 weeks anyway.
Would you let me know personally and then we'll put it back on the agenda?
I should.
I just feel like whatever we do, it needs to be done now. So if it's GoGov, whatever it is, we need to get our information out. That might be any public information that's been approved by the elected officials or crisis or a disaster response. I know the county has some, but it's not directed to us. Personal, city and engagements, and we just need to facilitate social democracy through communication and public relations. We need to shout out and let residents know what we're doing.
Everything.
And we're
you
doing
do.
good things. That's what the public relations part of this committee is to let the people know. Empower them to know where their money is going. So next, if you can kind of let me know, and then we'll put it I'll let the clerk know that we'll put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no more comments or opinions or concerns, let's call this end of the meeting. Thank you.